My apartment looks like a bomb site. I had sensed that something was wrong as soon as I entered the communal areas. The door of the apartment was already ajar when I pushed it open. I prepared myself for the spectacle I was about to confront. Can I die in this game? Okay, so first off, I wanted to say that I'm actually quite excited. This is going to be a new place for me. I moved from California to Colorado. It has been quite a long and arduous move, so thank you for bearing with me. Just wanted to get that out of the way. Getting back to the game, Across the Grooves is a visual novel with a lot of branching decisions, so this should be quite interesting. So why don't we just jump right in? Alice? The interphone buzzes again as I'm putting on my blouse. Hey, baby. Alice, can you get that, please? At this time in the morning, it's probably a delivery. I wonder what Jean-Baptiste has ordered this time. I will answer the phone. He asked me to. I quickly finish dressing and hurry to answer the interphone. Wow. I like the artwork. The artwork's really cool looking right now. The delivery man, who I thank for his patience, tells me in a toneless voice that yes, there's a package for me. A few minutes later, I'm back in my kitchen. I've made myself a coffee, and with a sense of foreboding, I look at the flat, square package which dominates the kitchen table. Jean-Baptiste comes into the kitchen, absently buttoning his shirt. Oh, hello. Why are you buttoning your shirt too? Did something happen last night between us? He jerks his head towards the package and peers at me. What's that? I think it's a record, a vinyl. The shape of the package is so distinctive that my guess is almost a certainty, and the handwriting leaves me no possible doubt. I recognize the hesitant, disjointed handwriting of Ulysse, a record store owner with whom I shaped several years of my life before I met Jean-Baptiste, a little over 3 years ago. As I've had no news from Ulysse since the night we split up, getting a package from him is unexpected to say the least. Oh, look at his beautiful blue eyes. I like him. He gives me a quizzical stare. I will tell you the truth. I am a good girl. I think it was Ulysse who sent it to me. Your ex? Yeah. I'm just as surprised as you are. I swear I haven't been in contact with him at all since we broke up. He moves closer and strokes his fingers gently through my hair. You should open it. Maybe there's a note and an explanation. He was part of your life for a long time, and you were part of his. I guess if he's decided to contact you now, it's something important. You're right. I've got to run. My father has some big Chinese clients coming to the castle at lunchtime. I have to organize the meeting with a cellar master. He plants a quick kiss on my lips. Mwah! Shall we meet up at the brasserie this evening? I might finish late. I remember that we've planned dinner this evening with my brother and my sister-in-law. Yes, okay, let's meet there. It's easier. I wait, listening for his footsteps to go down the stairs and fade before I return to the kitchen to open the package. I need a little privacy to deal with the intrusion of this ghost from my past. I grab a large chef's knife from the worktop and slide it along the fold, cleanly slicing the seal of the brown packaging tape. Inside there's a record, a 45, a 7-inch as the English called them. It's protected by a new sleeve, white card, without anything written that could give me any idea of what's actually pressed into the grooves. Knowing Ulysses' passion for rare records, it's probably a white label, a test pressing, sent to the record company by the factory to check the track record and the general sound quality before mass producing the record. Oh, I don't know, man, that's a bit ancient for me. I carefully slide the record out of its jacket. There's no label in the middle to tell me more of its contents. What I suppose to be the A side is cut in one single piece, which leaves one to suppose that it's a 45. As for the B side, it's bare of any grooves. The black, shiny surface of the record seems to reflect my confusion back at me. Why? And particularly, why now? It's been more than 3 years since Ulysse vanished from my life. 3 years without a word. What could have driven him to send me a record now, without the least explanation? I check the clock on the wall above the door. I still have 15 minutes before I need to leave for the office, which leaves me plenty of time to listen to the record, which can't last more than about 5 minutes, maybe 7, 8 max. I am super gorgeous, look at me. I pick up the packaging to put it into the wastebasket and take a moment to inspect it again, checking there's no note or anything hidden in the fold. Nothing. Why all the mystery? And no return address either. How did it even get mailed to me then? The postmark tells me that the parcel was posted from Paris, the 10th, oh my goodness, arrondissement. I take the record, then hesitate again. Do I really want to revisit the past now, before work? Or wouldn't it be better to wait till this evening? Let's go to work. It's been 3 years since I heard from Ulysse. It can wait a few more hours. And anyway, I'm not so sure I really want to revisit the past. I decided to leave the record where it is for the moment. I put my coat on and leave the apartment. Wahahaha! We'll go to work instead. During the short walk from the apartment to my office, I try to organize my thoughts. I try not to think about Ulysse. It's ancient history. I'm in a stable relationship, I've got a good job, there's no reason for me to be shaken up like this. I'm happy with Jean-Baptiste. I go into the bank, say hi to Martine on the counter, and then I shut myself in my office. There's a large stack of files on my desk. I decide to get straight to work on them. Work. Despite that, I can't stop myself from thinking about Ulysse, about the record. The day seems never ending. I leave the office right on time and hurry home. I shove off my coat and go get the record, which, since this morning, has patiently waited for me on the kitchen table. I go into the living room. The hi-fi has been relegated to a corner of the room behind the couch. As I lift the corner of the turntable, dust floats up into the room. Jean-Baptiste prefers the background noise of TV, so naturally, I've stopped listening to music since we moved in together. Oh man, I love the artwork, it's so cool! I plug in the headphones and put them over my ears. The night is upon... Okay, that's really cool.
I take the last train on my cigarette. A door opens. One pulls out through a crack. A distant drum beat rolls louder. A thunderstorm. You look at me, inviting me in. I follow you inside. To draws my pain, to draws my pain. In this sea of others, together, but alone. You're tearing me one who grows distant, but it's me who's shrinking. I'm becoming someone else in your absence. Already apart, even in your presence.
Ulysse? He turns and gazes at me sadly. I remember this evening perfectly. This is the day I met Jean-Baptiste, and this is the day Ulysse and I said goodbye. We'd broken up a week earlier, but we had tickets for this concert. Man, I just get right into it again, huh? I told myself that I didn't want to miss out, that I could handle it, the two of us sharing the same space for just a couple of hours. Big mistake. I hadn't anticipated the wrench I would feel in my heart when I saw him. Yes. I just came to see if you were okay. I'm sorry? Yes, I'm sorry too. Ulysse lowers his eyes, remorseful. I'm going to go. This was a bad idea. I shouldn't have come here tonight. He goes out the door and moves away. For a moment I falter. Perhaps I should let him go, as he does in my memory. I should push my way to the bar, order a double whiskey and let Jean-Baptiste buy it for me, then go for coffee with him a few days later. Man, I don't feel good about this. Ulysse. He stops and looks at me, startled. In a few strides, I catch up with him. What a strange dream. Why did you send me a record? A record? I didn't send you any record. Yes, you did. It arrived this morning. White sleeve, no label. Does that ring a bell? Ulysse looks terrified. You weren't supposed to listen to it. Listen, Alice. You have to go back to the bar. You have to do everything like the first time, like in your memory. There may be... What? There may still be time to avoid disaster. What disaster? Ulysse, please tell me. I need to understand. Everything I've done, I did for you. Trust me, Alice, I promise you don't want to know more. Around us, the world is beginning to break apart. It's too late. I hear the rhythm, far away. It rushes toward me, like a galloping horse. I'm engulfed by the music once more.
You're tearing me apart.
This is crazy.
I'm shrinking, you're the one who grows distant, but it's me who's shrinking. I'm becoming someone else in your absence. Breathing in, breathing out. The variations of me, I tear myself apart. I'm shrinking, I stretch my wings out. I'm someone else, and then I myself again.
Chapter 1! I'm confused. Bordeaux. I think that's how you say it, right? I stay where I am, sat by the record player, the stylus circling the central groove in unceasing hiss in my ears. Did I fall asleep? What happened? I take off the headphones and then replace the tone arm on its rest. I check the time, 10 to 7. I still have a little time. I decide to take a shower and change for the evening. I haven't thought of Ulysse in months. Hey, baby. That was some good night we had, right? I still don't know what went wrong between us. We were good together. I don't know what happened. As Lennon said, life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. I think in this case, it was the absence of plans that destroyed us. I go into the kitchen and make a cup of tea. Even after a hot shower, my hands are still shaking. The experience I've just gone through has affected me like an electroshock. Towards the end, our relationship slowly disintegrated. Ulysse spent more and more time in his record store. I threw myself into my studies. Then I met Jean-Baptiste. It was easy, simple with him. I think I needed that. I got a job in a bank. We moved in together, Jean-Baptiste and I. We quickly settled into a routine. Weeks, months, years passed without me really noticing. Is this truly happiness? Or is only a comfortable status quo that I've had the courage to challenge? I have a strange feeling, as if I've been asleep for years and suddenly have woken. It's time. I rinse my cup in the sink, then I hop on the tram to join Marie, Robin, and Jean-Baptiste at the restaurant. I open the door of the brasserie and plunge into the warm fog. The hubbub punctuated by the gurgle of the espresso machine. Espresso. Jean-Baptiste loves this place. It's just under his old apartment. Plus, Marie and Robin don't live far away. They had a baby and an evening out from time to time. It's like a breath of fresh air for them. I pass the bar and say hi to Michael, the owner. Hey, Michael! He seems surprised to see me, but before I can kiss him hello, he's called away for an order from the other side of the counter. At the end of the room, Robin is waving to me. I sit down opposite him. At the end of the table, there's a pram. Marie's gone out to take a phone call. Is everything all right? Oh yes, you know, I'm guessing it's more problems with the christening. If I'd had any idea of what kind of nightmare it was going to be, I'd never have let that priest get his claws into my progeny's spiritual life. It's nice to maintain traditions. It's pointless, but it makes Marie happy. It's pointless, but it makes Marie happy. It makes Marie happy. And think of it as a good deed. They need fresh meat for their quotas. Maybe I shouldn't have answered that way. I really get the feeling that people are getting more worked up about this than they do about weddings. And yet you're not married, so we couldn't really say that you've got a reliable point of reference. Bitch. That's true, but I promise you I'm immune after all this nonsense. I lean over the pram. The baby is fast asleep. And how's my favorite little niece? You can see she enjoys the hustle and bustle, just like her auntie. Feel a hand on my shoulder. It's Marie. She's back, phone in hand. We hug. Sorry, I had to take a call for work. You'd think they'd just been leaving all the files on my desk for me to deal with after my maternity leave. So how's things with you? I will speak about the record. I breathe out a sigh. Well, you're not going to believe this, but I got a package from Ulysse this evening. Ulysse, your ex? Himself. Oh, that's surprising, isn't it? You broke up, what, 3 years ago? What was in the package? A record. A vinyl. That's all? No note? Nothing? No, just a record, without any explanation. Ah, yes. I remember. The record store guy, right? I don't know why you guys broke up. He was really cool. Marie glares at Robin, who buries himself back in the wine list. Oh, what should we order? So, no, nothing. It's odd, isn't it? Yes. What was on the record? Did you listen to it? Yes, 45. No label, no idea of the artist or the group. I try to remember the music itself, but I can't seem to recall the melody. The sound was fairly pop, pretty modern. A whole load of memories came flooding back when I listened to it. It was really weird. I really felt like I was actually reliving the past, the night when Ulysse and I broke up. Still, it's a little out of order for him. No news for years, and he sends you a record now without any explanation? So, anyway, what are you going to do? I'm going to investigate. I really need to find out what's going on. If Ulysse decided to send me a record after 3 years of radio silence, it must be important to him. I think I'll start by going round to his record store tomorrow on the way back from the office. But I thought Ulysse had left Bordeaux. He did, but I think that Mark, his former partner, is the most likely person to know what's happened to him. Marie nods. Good thinking. Listen, I don't want to hurry you, but can we order? I have a kid now, and I really need a drink. So, we can get home before the next feed. Sure, feed. Aren't we going to wait for Jean-Baptiste? Marie and Robin look at me bemused. Jean-Baptiste? Yes, he was seeing some Chinese customers today, but he shouldn't be much longer. Oh no. Alice, who's this Jean-Baptiste? Oh, I got chills! I don't know what to say. How could they not know who Jean-Baptiste is? Jean-Baptiste, my boyfriend? You know, we had dinner with you quite a few times. We even spent a weekend together this summer on the bay. Don't you remember? Marie looks worried. Robin is glancing around nervously. I let out a shaky laugh. You're kidding me, right? Are you sure you're okay, Alice? This summer on the bay, you were with an Arthur. You broke up 2 or 3 weeks after. You've never introduced us to any Jean-Baptiste. Robin nods in agreement. I've been drinking too much. I don't understand. I don't remember any Arthur. My head is spinning. I stand up, spots dance in front of my eyes. Robin rushes to catch me by the shoulder. Alice, you're scaring me. Are you alright? Yes, I need some air. I turn and hurry through the brasserie. Behind me I hear Mary say to Robin, let her go. We'll call her tomorrow. Then I'm out in the street. The cool night air helps me to collect my thoughts. A little further away on the sidewalk, I make out the familiar shape of Jean-Baptiste. He's smoking a cigarette. Bleh. The Jean-Baptiste that I know has stopped smoking. We stopped together. I fumble my coat pocket. I pull out a packet of Ulysses half empty. It shouldn't be there. There's no rational explanation why I should have a packet of smokes on me. Unless... Jean-Baptiste has seen me. He smiles at me. I can't stay here staring at him from a distance. I have to take a decision, but I don't know if I should turn away or go and talk to him. I hesitate. I'm gonna go near. Hey, baby. I go near. Jean-Baptiste rummages through his pockets and holds a lighter out to me. I notice that I still have a packet of cigarettes in my hand. I'm not quitting today! I take one out and let him light it for me. Are you alright? The way he looks at me, his manner. They aren't those of anyone who's shared several years of my life. He doesn't remember me, us, either. It's at this precise moment that something that was just an impression, a suspicion, a kind of out of their thought, which couldn't actually happen in real life, strikes me full force. This man, who I was making plans with for the future just yesterday, is watching me with indifference, mildly disturbed by my distress. I'm a stranger to him, and it hurts badly. And now, there he is, right in front of me, waiting for me to answer. Yes, fine. It's just that, how should I say, my day's been emotional. I get exactly what you mean. We're in a slippery slope, which I decide not to continue down. I just don't know how I'll react if he asks me what happens in my day, and I know he's about to just do that. Haven't we met already? Your face looks familiar. I don't think so. I'd remember you. Do you often drink here? He nods towards the window behind me. Maybe you just saw me in there sometime. I come here a lot. I don't know. Maybe. Probably. Jean-Baptiste drops a cigarette and crushes it with his foot. Sorry, but I have to go. Do you want me to ask Michel to get you a taxi? No, that's kind, but it's fine. He starts back to the bistro, then changes his mind and returns to pick up the cigarette end. He takes the chance to look at me again, as if he was searching for an elusive memory or a word on the tip of the tongue. He flashes me an embarrassed smile, accompanied by a good night before disappearing into the bistro. I stay where I am, in the cold, dragging on my cigarette, my heart in my shoes. Then I turn away and head up the street towards the tram stop. The first thing I do when I get back to the apartment is to bolt the door behind me. I had the feeling of being followed on my way home. I'm probably being a bit paranoid, but well, who knows? Someone breaking into my home during the night would really just top my day off. The second thing that I do is go to the bedroom and open Jean-Baptiste's side of the closet. I'm not particularly surprised to find it full of my old clothes, things that I thought I got rid of. I go out on the balcony and light a cigarette. I'm definitely not quitting anymore. As I stand musing, I look at the apartment and I'm aware of the number of small differences that I hadn't noticed earlier in the day. There's no phone charger or small coins in the bowl on the dresser in the hall. The old game consoles, which had never been plugged back in since the move, is no longer on its shelf under the TV. The big photo of New York has been replaced by a tattered old poster from a regional rock music festival. The record, though, still dominates the kitchen table, exactly where I left it earlier in the day. That's so weird. It's like we listened to this record and now everything is just completely different. It seems impossible, but as if by putting the 45 on the turntable, I truly returned to my past. As if by choosing to run after Ulysse the night we broke up, I hadn't met Jean-Baptiste at the bar. As if I'd returned to a present where I'm single, where Jean-Baptiste and I never met. I could try listening to the record again to get to the bottom of this, but I'm afraid of making things worse. If it really does have the power to change my past, it could have catastrophic consequences on my life. What did they call that again? The butterfly effect? I hope Mark will help me clear this all up. At least he should be able to tell me what's happened to Ulysse. That's so strange. I grab my phone and I leave an apologetic message for Marie, assuring her that everything's fine, that I'm sorry I slipped away so early. Then I crush out the cigarette and crawl under my covers in hope of sleep. Saint Michel. I realize that I've hardly set foot in this district since I split up with Ulysse. The store that Mark shared with Ulysse is in a little semi-pedestrian street on a corner. I used to come here almost every day after my college classes a few years ago. That's a good picture of her. When I push the door open, I'm assailed by the characteristic odor of old records, similar yet distinct from the smell of old books. The big speakers fixed to the ceiling blare out a strident fuzz guitar solo at a volume theoretically much too high for a business establishment. I'd be incapable of saying whether it was some obscure 70s garage band or post-rock movement contemporaries trying to imitate their elders. Mark is reading the sleeve with interest. Only when I reach the other side of the counter does he deign to look up. Whoa, hey. He smiles at me, then murmurs something incomprehensible in the din. I gesture to him that I can't hear anything, pointing at my ears. He flaps his hand at me to wait, then turns the volume on his amp down to something better, more adapted to conversation. I was saying they're a local band, pretty powerful, huh? I've signed them for an EP. I just got the pressing. What's amazing with Mark is that even if we haven't seen each other for probably over a year, he behaves as if we'd spent yesterday evenings together. Hello, Mark. Are you okay? Everything's cool, thanks. And you? What brings you down here? Have you heard from Ulysse lately? No. Mark seems a little surprised at the question. Now you mention it, it's been an age. The last I heard he was in Paris. But when I say last, that was 6 months ago. I called him for a customer who was looking for Magma originals. After, it's true we've kind of lost contact since. Mark breaks off. I guess that, in some way, he must blame me a little for what happened between Ulysse and me, seeing as how our breakup also cost him his business partner. Anyway, so no news of Ulysse lately. But why do you ask? He sent me a record. I decided to get straight to the point. He sent me a record. A record? Yes. No explanation, no return address, nothing. Man, I look really upset right now. Like, I look like I've almost given up. Just a vinyl record in a package. To tell the truth, the only clue that told me that it came from him was his handwriting for the address. Mark watches me with an odd intensity. Did I spark his interest when I mentioned the record? Or is it something else? Concern? Or fear? Could you describe the record to me? I can do better than that. I'm about to fish the record out of my bag when Mark gestures me to stop. He hails someone who's rummaging in the reggae Afrobeat box behind me. Hey, sir! His target turns with an air of feigned innocence. He's a guy in his 50s. He wears a black leather biker jacket and snug matching pants. His hair, which is slicked back, rockabilly style, is, considering his age, the improbable uniform black of a bottle of hair dye. Can I help you? The guy grumbles in discontent, shakes his head, and saunters towards the exit. Mark waits for the closing door to ring the bell hanging above it, before continuing. Did that guy follow you by any chance? Follow me? Yes, follow you. How should I put it? Have you had the feeling you're being watched since you received the record? Yes, I've definitely had that feeling. Yes, I had that feeling of being followed yesterday evening on my way home. But, well, I figured I was being paranoid. Why would someone tail me? And anyway, why would you suspect that guy, especially? Mark can't repress a smile. Two things. An old rockabilly who I don't know in my shop. They're an endangered species. I guarantee they all come in here, no exceptions, at least once a week for a coffee or beer. They never buy anything, but they're cool and they've always got amazing stories to tell. Okay, well, that seems like a bit of a stretch, but never mind. And a guy in leathers and boots going through the Afrobeat box for 10 minutes, if that's not suspicious. Okay, that is very suspicious. You're right. Mark leans over the counter to check who is actually in his shop. There's only a couple of students giggling in the depths of the shop, and a guy meticulously comparing the covers of 2 copies of Frank Zappa's Hot Rats, the headphones of the open access turntable clamped over his ears. Okay, the coast's clear. I slip the record from my bag and place it in the counter. It's a 45 white label, a test pressing. No scribe number in the groove. One of the 2 sides is a mirror side. Mark smiles. You haven't forgotten the jargon then. After all the time I spent with Ulysse, I think it's lodged in my brain forever. You can put it away. I know what it is. Really? It's not a white label. It's an acetate, a single copy. That's why there's no matrix number. I put the record back in my bag. But I'm surprised you don't recognize it. Ulysse unearthed it a while before you split up. It was the only record he wanted to keep when he left, which meant I had to buy his share of the stock. I would have preferred that he take the psychedelic shelf. It would have saved me taking out a bank loan. Did you listen to it? Probably not. Oh, he did. So he should know about it then, right? Yes, I put it on once on the headphones. That was quite enough for me. Oh yeah? Look, I'm no angel, right? I know the effect of psychedelics, mushrooms, LSD, mescaline, salvia. I've tried pretty much everything. But I've never had a trip like the one that record took me on. What did you see? What did the record show you? Mark takes a deep breath and looks away. It's personal. It took me back to a moment in my life that I'd rather forget. A turning point, I guess you'd call it. Okay, I understand. I don't particularly want to go over the experience again either. At least not until I know a bit more. Mark smiles. There's quite a few legends going around about that recording, you know. Some people claim that it's the last recording of a Delta bluesman who made a pact with the devil. Wow, this record is crazy. It's kind of the holy grail of record collectors, if you see what I mean. There are plenty of crazies who say it's got magical powers. If I were you, I'd be very careful. That record attracts trouble. And to be honest, it makes me pretty anxious about Ulysse. It's obviously the most precious thing he possesses. Him sending it to you by post like that, that's not a good sign. After everything you've told me, yes, it is worrying. Do you have his telephone number? The simplest thing would be to try to reach him for a start, right? Mark nods and picks up the handset. He hangs up a few seconds later. It's sending me direct to his answer phone, telling me my correspondent's voicemail box is full, which isn't totally surprising with Ulysse. We're interrupted by the sound of the bell which hangs above the door. A young punk covered in tattoos approaches the corner. Without bothering with any courtesies, she speaks directly to Mark. Do you have tickets for Sonic Youth? Mark takes the tickets from beneath the counter and makes the sale. I gaze after the young woman after she leaves. Mark clears his throat loudly at me. He watches me with a smirk. I realize I was probably staring at his customer so hard that he'd notice. That style would suit you. I don't think so. Considering my job, I can't really do myself up in such an out there style. But even if I could, I'm not sure that that's the look I'd go for. Anyway, what were you saying? That Ulysse is impossible to reach, and that's not really surprising. I'll give you his address if you want. Do you go up to Paris sometimes for work? Mark grabs paper and a pen. It can happen, but like once a year max. In any case, it's not going to happen anytime soon. Same for me. I just got back from vacation. It'd be kind of tricky to justify a trip to Paris. I've written down his number too, just in case. Mark gives me the paper. The first to hear anything calls the other, alright? I nod. Thanks, Mark. You should drop by more often. It's good to see you. As they say, don't be a stranger. You're right, I'll try to come by more often in the future. Oh no, people are in my apartment. I don't like it. My apartment looks like a bomb site. I had sensed that something was wrong as soon as I entered the communal areas. The door of the apartment was already ajar when I pushed it open. I prepared myself for the spectacle I was about to confront. Can I die in this game? Every square centimeter has been carefully searched, every closet emptied, every drawer turned out. I pick up a cushion which lays on the living room floor and replace it on the couch before dropping down next to it, dejected. Oh my god, look at my place. I realize that Mark's warnings weren't unfounded. Someone really wants that record. And that person is ready to enter my home while I'm away to achieve their ends. Was it the old rockabilly who was spying on me in the record store? He didn't seem particularly dangerous. On the other hand, a record with the power to change the past, I totally understand that someone might want to get a hold of it, even if that means breaking a few laws along the way. I guess there are a few things that I might be tempted to change myself. We all have regrets, our missed opportunities. I glance at the turntable. It's been thrown on the floor, and the tone arm has flown under the dresser. Just as well, at least I won't be tempted to listen to it again. At least not until I have a better understanding of how the record works. At the moment, the only solid lead I have is Ulysse. I take out my phone and dial the number that Mark gave me. Maybe I'll be luckier than him. You never know. Apparently not, because I'm also welcomed by the recorded operator's voice telling me in a monotone voice, "Your correspondence voicemail box is full." Beneath the number, there's an address in Saint-Ouen. I know what I have to do. I could pack my bags and leave for Paris right now. It's not as if anyone or anything is keeping me here in Bordeaux. But perhaps I shouldn't be confusing speed with haste. I could also spend this evening and tomorrow getting ready to go. What should I do? I think we should leave straight away. What do you think? Because if we are to leave the day after, their guys are probably going to come back after us. I think we should leave straight away. The advantage of my enforced celibacy is that the logistics and organization of the journey are much simpler. I call Robin to let him know where I'm going. I explain the situation as rationally as possible, omitting of course any tales of the pacts with the devil. He's kind enough to agree to take care of getting my locks replaced. I also leave a message for my boss at the bank to notify him of my absence. The time to throw a few things in the suitcase and jump on a tram, and I'm at the station. 1 hour later, I board a train for Paris. Alright guys, so that is it right now for Across the Grooves. I'm really confused. We got a record and that record sent us back into the past. We no longer have our cool French boyfriend anymore, and we have no idea where to find Ulysses. This crazy guy following us, it kind of gives me like the chills. I don't really like the idea that we're being followed wherever we go. I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments below. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you. I love you. I hope you guys had a great time watching this, and I hope you guys have a great day. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.